My brother lied to CPS about our situation at home, so my parents could keep hurting me. So I went nuclear and never looked back. 5 years later, he's calling me in tears, claiming I'm the only family he has left. Growing up, my parents literally beat it into us that having any privacy was toxic. My mom would go through our rooms while we were sleeping, searching through everything. If she found even a single piece of homework I hadn't shown her, she'd wake me up and force me to kneel on rice until morning. The rice would dig into my skin, leaving tiny indentations that would stay for hours afterward. Sometimes my knees would bleed from the pressure, tiny red dots appearing on the white grains. The pain was sharp and constant, impossible to ignore no matter how I shifted my weight. But my dad was even worse. He was the one who made the rules. He decided how long we should kneel, if we were allowed to lock the bathroom door, and the clothes we wore so he could see the work he did on us if we broke the rules. His face would turn this particular shade of red when he was angry, veins bulging in his forehead as he shouted. The smell of his aftershave would fill my nostrils as he leaned in close to yell, making my stomach churn with anxiety. I absolutely hated both of them, and I hated their rules. I tried to rebel as much as possible. I'd hide small things under my mattress, notes from friends, a candy wrapper, anything that could be just mine. I'd whisper to myself in the bathroom mirror, practicing the feeling of having thoughts that belonged only to me. The constant surveillance made me feel like I was suffocating, like there wasn't enough air in the house for me to breathe. But my brother, on the other hand, he was fully indoctrinated. He followed every word they said religiously, and not only that, but he was also dead set on making me follow the rules too. His room was directly across from mine, and I could often hear him moving around at night, probably organizing his perfectly displayed belongings that he never tried to hide. If he ever accidentally read one of my texts, he'd run to my parents and tell on me about how I was keeping secrets, and then watch with a smirk as my parents laid hands on me. The satisfaction in his eyes was unmistakable, like he was getting some kind of thrill from my suffering. He was also self-serving and selfish too, volunteering random confessions at dinner and acting like he was high and mighty. I got frustrated with my math homework today and thought about giving up, he'd announce proudly, as if admitting to some terrible sin. The hardwood dining chair would creak beneath me as I shifted uncomfortably, knowing what was coming next. Our parents praised him so much for being open, and over time I guess it paid off for him, because my parents started letting him do things they had never let before. All of a sudden, his curfew was pushed back by a few hours. His room stopped getting searched daily. He'd strut around the house with this new confidence, shooting me knowing looks whenever our parents weren't watching. But me, on the other hand, the intensity of the mistreatment ramped up. If I came home from school and didn't tell my parents about every class in detail within the first few minutes, I'd get punished, and severely too. The sound of my dad's belt sliding through the loops of his pants became the most terrifying noise in my world. Oftentimes, I'd wince in pain in class when sitting down, lying to my teachers about why I was hurting. I fell during soccer practice, I'd say, or I bumped into the corner of a table. The fluorescent classroom lights seemed to highlight my discomfort, making me feel exposed even when no one was looking. And then things got even worse. My parents started allowing my brother to search my stuff too, and he absolutely loved it. The way his fingers would rifle through my belongings, quick and invasive, turning everything upside down. I caught him grinning while tossing out my belongings multiple times, justifying it by saying I never told them about this or that. The sound of my drawers being yanked open would wake me sometimes, and I'd lie perfectly still, pretending to be asleep while he ransacked my few possessions. Other times, he'd feel really mean and just make up a lie about a secret note he found or something. The carpet fibers would scratch against my face as I pressed my cheek to the floor, begging them to believe me that there was no note. When that happened, my parents would lock me out of my own room and make me sleep on the couch, but only after the wailings. The leather couch was cold and sticky against my skin, and the thin blanket they allowed me provided little comfort against the chill of the living room. I'd see my brother lingering in the hallway after my punishments, smirking like he was the king of the house. Sometimes he'd whisper things as he passed by, little comments meant only for my ears. That's what happens to liars, or you deserve worse. The hallway was always dimly lit, casting long shadows that seemed to reach for me like grasping fingers. What's really sad about all of this is that it didn't matter what I did. I tried getting all A's. My backpack would be heavy with textbooks as I studied late into the night, eyes burning from exhaustion. I'd clean the whole house every weekend. The smell of cleaning products would cling to my hands for days, my fingers raw from scrubbing. I'd offer to cook dinner for them, carefully measuring ingredients and following recipes exactly, terrified of making a mistake. But if I wasn't sharing every little detail about my life with them, they looked at me like I was less. The disappointment in their eyes cut deeper than any physical punishment. Eventually, they even started giving me the silent treatment. They'd all eat dinner together and leave me at the kitchen counter, alone. The sound of their forks scraping against plates, their casual conversation and occasional laughter felt like a physical barrier between us. The kitchen counter was cold and hard, and my food always seemed to taste like nothing as I ate in isolation, just a few feet away from what looked like a normal, happy family. One night, after a particularly bad punishment from my parents, I was feeling particularly low. My whole body ached, and the loneliness felt like